Hey everyone, welcome to my video of putting in a shooter rod from Hooked on Pinball. And basically the shooter rod looks like a Hurst shifter knob. And also Swinks, who he's partners with for this collaboration of the mod, he did this gear shift plate, which both of these things go into this right here where the shooter rod is. So basically this plate goes on this part of the shooter rod, and this is replaced. The shooter rod itself is replaced with this rod. So we're going to go through the process. It's not really hard at all. All you do is pull pretty much one pin out of the shooter rod, take out the pin, put on this plate, and then put the shooter rod back in, put on the pin, and that's pretty much all there should be with it. So let's start by doing that. Okay, so the next part we're going to do now is put on this plate. And basically how that goes is it kind of just fits for the rod we just took out, just in this shooter rod area right here. So it just fits into that. So what I did before the video was taken, I just cleaned this with alcohol just to kind of get any of the grime, so you get a better stick of the adhesive on the back of the plate. So basically you kind of just peel this sticker off, so it kind of shows the adhesive of that. And then you just take this, kind of line it up with, you know, the circle part, and just kind of press it in. You might have to kind of get it in there a bit, but it's pretty much it. And then you kind of just push it in so it's in. And that's it. So now that's in, and now we're going to put the shooter rod in and put everything back together. Okay, so now we're going to put in the shooter rod, and basically what I did was, from the old shooter rod, I took the spring and the washer that was on the original one, which is right here, and put it on the, you know, before I inserted it into the actual pinball machine. I put those two pieces on first, spring first, then the washer, then it kind of slides into that, and then, you know, basically you have that. And now what we need to do is put the rest of the components on, which goes the spring from the old one, and then basically when we're putting this on, again, there's a groove which is right here where my fingernail is, and then this washer, or this lock, I'll call it like a cotter pin in a way. There's a name for it, but I forgot what the name of it is actually. But basically what you do is you kind of lay it in the groove and you put some pressure on it, and you'll feel it click in. Now it's locked, and now it won't come out unless you get a pair of channel locks like we did before, and which will allow you, you know, to pull it out. And then basically you have that. You put your end back on, your shooter rod tip, and that's really it. And if your fingers are dirty, like mine kind of are, you get some more alcohol, and a rag, or a weeb roller, or a pad here, and you just kind of, you know, clean everything up a little bit. And basically that's it. Then, you know, you could clean your shifter knob up, because, you know, again, if your hands are dirty, And I like my things to be pretty clean anyway. So that's really it. That's really all it takes is to install a shooter rod into your machine. It's a cool mod. It's easy to install. I mean, you can't really ask for an easier mod than that. And you know, again, it kind of adds something to one of your racing car pinball machines, such as Mustang or Nascar or something like that. So that's pretty much it right there. And that's how it works. So again, this is from Hooked on Pinball, and I believe Swinks, who's another person, he did the Creature from the Black Lagoon, the snack bar mod, which some people have gotten already. Had a lot of requests for that, I know. He did the actual plate for the shooter, or I'm sorry, the gear shift pattern, which we put on before. And here's another shot of the shooter rod head on. So basically, it's got the gear pattern here, the Hurst logo here, and again, here's the actual gear shift pattern that we put inside the shooter holder mechanism. So it looks pretty cool. It's fairly cheap, and again, it's really easy to install. It's an easy mod, which really doesn't take much time to do. I was testing the shooter rod out in a couple games with the Nascar pinball machine, and if you have a Nascar pinball machine, you might run into the same issue that I had with this shooter rod. And the problem is that I don't know if this rod is a bit bigger or what the issue is between the rod that came with the machine and the rod that the new rod takes the place of. Is that I had to bend this spring out. I had to stretch the spring out basically to give the rod, when it gets in the position over here, to kind of not be so the end of the rod isn't so far up into the playfield in the shooter lane. So basically, if I stretch this out, it kind of positions the rod back more. So it's not, so the tip was actually hitting the switch that activates the ball to auto plunge. And basically the plunge wasn't that strong, and it wouldn't make it up the the whole play track on the perimeter of the playfield. So basically, by stretching this spring out, it made the tip of the shooter rod come out farther. So when it laid in here and you shot it, or when the auto plunger went off, the tip wasn't so far up already. And I guess it was causing issues when it would auto plunge and not give it a good push out the shooter lane around the track, and it wouldn't make it up to the first magnet to launch the ball. So basically, like I said, you could add, I guess, more washers if you wanted to, because there's 2 washers in here already that kind of take up some slack. But bending this spring out for me helped out, again, with 2 pairs of pliers. The spring is really, it's a pretty strong spring actually. It took a lot of pulling to get the spring to stretch a bit. But again, the tip before the rod was farther up into the playfield, so causing the spring to pull on that spring and to cause it to be stretched out a bit more, it made the rod come out farther, so the tip wasn't so far into the shooter lane. So you may not have that problem. I did. So just if you are installing this on a NASCAR, you might run into that same issue, and that is a resolution that I found to fix that. So again, thanks for watching my videos. Again, you can see all my stuff. I have a YouTube channel, Twitter channel, website. Everything can be found at www.pinballsupernova.com. And again, thanks to everybody for liking my videos on YouTube and my blog and everything else that I post. It helps me out because I know people are watching these things. Sometimes it takes a lot of time, but I really like doing them, and I really like to help other people, in the pinball hobby. So thanks again, and stay tuned for my next video. Talk to you soon.